I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those happy days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one you complain, leaves with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about
happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to make these days.
I feel like shit. My suggestion is distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I'm like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here is
Not Robert.
There we are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 95 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. I, of course, as per usual, had a pretty quiet weekend, although earlier today I decided to take some few photographs for myself. Well, not really for myself, but they're for Indigenous Peoples Day that's going to be happening this coming Tuesday, which I think it's the 9th of August. Did that, send them over to the email address, which I believe it is, name escapes me at the moment. I think it's White Lives Matter 2022 at, yeah, the email escapes me at the moment. I basically sent it over to people who run the email. I think it might be Laura or Sam or anyone from like PA specifically. So I did just that, and hopefully those images will be appearing in a future video or stream, or maybe in a post for the PA website. But that's pretty much what I've done for today. Which was great because I've noticed this morning when I woke up it was like really cloudy and stuff, and I was hoping to have the like maybe a bit of a sun, like just so the image would look a lot more presentable. But thankfully, when I was out, it was quite hot. The sun was out, and I thought, right, this would be perfect for taking a photo shoot. I've seen people in the chat noticing already about about my hair and beard. Yeah, so I did say on the last episode on I know that the last episode was on Thursday. In fact, I don't need this on at the moment. I was going to give myself a haircut and trim, just like a little trim from a beard. It's just so that because again, it just looked really wild, and I need to have a bit of a tidy up with that. So I know it may look a bit different. So yeah, even thank you, Rory. A nice haircut and beard trim. Thank you very much, Rory. It's like the chief, but with less hair. Oh, thanks, English Rose. I appreciate that. Let's see here. I think there was another comment about it as well. No, that might be it. If I've been thinking about this as well in terms of like a comparison between what I looked like pre-haircut and what I look like now, because I think it's kind of night and day. Let me see if I can find the previous episode again, just a bit of a comparison, say, because a lot of people noticed the change as well, and it's like, oh, well, you look a lot tidier, you look a lot nicer. I was like, oh, okay, thanks for that. So let's see if I could find this real quick, and then we'll get started, or we will get started, I should say. So that was episode 94. Let me see if I can get a good image of myself here. Hold on. Back a bit. Yeah, all right. Let me share this real quick. So go on. I think maybe this would be ideal. Hold on. Yeah, share screen. This one here and that. And that. Okay. Maybe get this up here. I don't know. Well, okay. What I'll do is try maybe this actually. Hopefully this might work. So there was me. So this was pre-haircut, as you can see. Oh, hold on. Mute that. That should be all right now. So that's me pre-haircut. And of course, the beard was a lot more wilder, as you can see. And then I'll stop that. And then we get to what I look like now, which of course would be this. So I would definitely say it's definitely like very night and day regarding to that. And I actually feel it feels a lot of refreshing to be honest with that. Because I was really needed a haircut really bad. I needed I wasn't gonna completely shave the beard off, but again, it was just to tidy up a little bit, a slight trim. Tell us who done it. We'll go get them for you. I went to I don't know the name of the guy, but he was a white gentleman. I went to his place a couple of times in the past. It was just a case of the usual barbers I would go to were not open, so I thought, right, I'll maybe check this place out. He was fine of me getting a haircut because he was hoping to maybe do like an appointment, but he was fine because he could tell I really need the haircut. So he was a fine gentleman with that. I definitely think it was his own business. I think it's been there for like a number of years, but only fairly recently I just went in there. So really like the outcome of it, so I'll definitely see if I can maybe go back there. If there's a point I need a haircut, and of course, like again, trim my beard a bit, it'll feel better in the next week's heat wave. Or there's going to be another heat wave. I wouldn't be surprised at that, to be honest. Hold on a sec. Anyway, let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and then we'll get started. Gamma Sandwiches with us. How you doing? Ethan, I'm at work right now, so I'll be popping in and out of the chat. That's fair enough, Gamma. Thank you very much for watching the show anyway. Resisting the Lies, or DJ, park up my beam, brother. Thanks, DJ. Mentioned English Rose already. Thank you for being here, of course. Roy Herbert is with us. What Tyler 1381? How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Of course, we also have Toby Radley. We have Ragnar Iron Spear with us. Inshallah, Streaky Bacon. How you doing? Appreciate you being here. Scaffolder John, share it on Twitter and like and share. Thank you very much for that, and I appreciate you coming along and watching the show. We also have Aunt Sally in the chat as well. Thank you very much for being here. Fresh Trim Chief, yeah. Roscoe is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Let me see here. I think there's John looking good, mate. Hashtag no homo. That's fine. I appreciate the comments regarding to that. Anglo-Saxon is with us. How you doing, Anglo-Saxon? Appreciate you being here. I think that's me up to date with the chat. Did the council do it? No. Nah, I wasn't the council. Nah. There's Joe Marsh in the chat. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much for watching. Leeds was epic yesterday. Had 60 PA turn up and about 40 others. I'm glad you brought that up because that was something I was going to maybe talk about slightly, even though I wasn't there. But after what I've seen with the photographs yesterday, I actually really wish I was. I think I was even planning on going there and maybe with a couple of others from PA Scotland to join with me. Well, to be fair, they asked first if anyone was going, and I decided, yeah, I definitely want to come along with it as well. I don't know if maybe something came up at the time or maybe they were really busy, but yeah, I mean, I really wish I went because I think that from what I've seen again from yesterday, it looked amazing. Like a lot of people turned up, especially for the protest side, like a lot of the PA guys and non-PA members being with it as well. So I'll talk about that real briefly in a moment here. But thank you very much for watching the show, Joe. Hasdak, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching, even though. Rob D is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Is there anyone else here? Sorry, I'm just teasing. You look lovely. Well, thank you very much, English Rosa. Yeah, thanks for the tease. Who else is with us? English Weather is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Right then, I think we can have a short talk about the Leeds protest that happened yesterday. Again, I myself was not at the protest, but what I've seen yesterday, I really wish I was there. It seemed like a lot of people from PA were there. I know Laura was there, Mark was there, Sam was there, as Joe pointed out in the chat. He was there. Jody Kay was there. I think Barkley was there as well. Again, a lot of notable figures within PA, and also a lot of activists who I've met throughout PA were there yesterday as well. I really wish I was there. I think the reason why I wish I was there again is to participate in the protest of the whole grooming children. Like again, just leave the kids alone. And also just seeing all of these like lefty twats who are like counter protesting. We're just coping and seething about how we're like the bad ones, and yet they're the self-righteous moral ones, when in reality they're basically a bunch of grooming pedophiles. Let's just be frank about that. I've even watched some episodes again from a channel called Correct Not Political. I don't think they're like a ethno-nationalist channel, but but from what I've seen quite a few videos of theirs or a few streams, and they're actually pretty good videos. There's one I've watched earlier today. I think it was at a protest. I think it was from not yesterday, but it looked like a different location. So maybe sometime this past week. Actually, I might as well bring that video up here before we get into like the main topic, and then we'll see from there. Because this was something that I've watched earlier on, and I was like, oh, I could easily like talk about this as like a reaction type of idea. Well, let me see if I can get that video up. I think I found it in my history page on YouTube. If it'll let me change, I don't know why it's not. Hold on a sec. If I can. I don't know why it's acting up here. So it's a video of the guy from Correct Not Political was interviewing some bald bastard who was there, who was like pro the what I call it the pro grooming side. I'll see if I can get the video up here, because I was watching the video and I just remember thinking, this guy, like the amount of cope that is coming out of his mouth is just astonishing. And I'll see if I can get that up here. And then what I'll do is we'll go through the video together. And again, I'll of course, watch it, give my take on it, because I've watched it, as I said earlier on. Again, my apologies if I sound like I'm repeating myself here, but it's funny, but it's also pretty frustrating at the same time. There it is. So the title of the video is called Nonsense and Big Hits. This is from Correct Not Political. If you guys want, I'll even post the link for the video in the chat. So if you guys want to watch it yourselves, then or even maybe check it out later, give it a like. I'll even also it can also be a good idea to give this channel a sub, because again, from what I've watched as of late, his videos are actually pretty decent. So definitely check it out for yourselves. So let me just get the link for the video, and then I'll share the screen. Hold on 1 second here. Post that. That's the link for the video I'm just going to be reacting to. So we'll start off with that, and then we'll move on to the main topic, which will be it's going to be about a particular sassy black warlord. I'll say that much. So let's have a look at this. So we'll get to the screen here. Maybe some of you might have seen this already, but we'll have a look at this. So let me full screen it. We'll just get into. We'll skip a little bit of this. So hold on that. Okay, well that's that then. Let me see if I can get to this part here, and we'll start with that. So 27 seconds in. So we'll just play it right now. So 3, 2, 1.
So what brings you here today then, Ethan?
I work in the area,
Right.
and a bunch of the people are protesting over nothing.
Over nothing?
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that for me, please?
Somebody's
Nothing.
reading a story, that's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
That's it. Somebody's reading a story. I
And
don't see the issue. because they're a drag
Well,
queen
well,
or
slow
what.
down,
It doesn't matter.
Ethan.
No,
I'm just trying to get this information
no,
out
I'm
of you for
making,
them.
I'm making my point.
Right.
There's no reason to be protesting it. Who cares? Who cares if a drag queen's reading a story? Yeah, and it's ridiculous. They shouldn't.
Have you heard the argument as to why?
Because they think they're grooming the children.
And why do they think that?
I have honestly no
So
idea.
you don't
I mean, I'm right. So we're about like a minute and 9 seconds in already, and I mean the amount of cope that's coming from this Ethan guy, who I'm sorry, every time I look at him with a mustache and everything, he just kind of looks like like a poor man's Charles Bronson or something like that. I don't know why, but I just kind of get that impression. But it's just the amount of coping that I'm seeing from or I'm hearing from this guy is just amazing. The idea of like, well, I mean, I don't really see. Hold on, just come back onto this page here for a moment here. It's astonishing. Like again, the amount of coping from this guy. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, you have a drag queen who's just reading a story to kids. What seems to be the problem, Rob? You know, it's just like that's not the point here. The point here is that you have a drag queen which is supposed to be a part of adult entertainment, and someone like that is reading storybooks to children, and they even. I'm sure people in the chat may have seen these videos already, but there have been videos online, and I think the locations of where these videos take place, I think they're from mostly America, maybe Canada. I'm not entirely too sure, but all the drag queens who would participate in these story time hours with the kids, they would do all kinds of very questionable stuff. For example, they would do a lot of twerking. There was one video, I think it was in Idaho, I think it is, the state, if I remember. I think it was the same location that Patriot Front tried to protest, but they got arrested because there was conspiracy of promoting hatred or some fucking shit like that. I think in that same area where the drag queen was at, he accidentally, quote unquote, was exposing himself in front of the kids. Again, they would say, oh, well, that's just very accidental. But then, of course, stuff like that turns out that they're actually part of the overall act, which, again, you're dealing with a bunch of children there. So I don't understand how that would deem to be normal, especially when they even said that themselves. It's an accidental moment, but it turns out that it's actually part of the overall act. So, and of course, with Ethan's comments about how, oh, I just don't see what the problem is. It's like you realize what there's something that he's going to mention later on, which I don't want to say at the moment, because when I heard this, I'm just thinking this is just it's beyond that. Low IQ, it would appear. Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe an idea of low IQ. Amanda Lee, how you doing? I saw on Laura's channel, and some of these drag queen names are a bit strong. Would you like? I have seen that. I wonder if I can maybe get the list up here, because some of the names, I just think, right, just even if there's like a names attached to that, I mean, that's. Well, sorry, excuse me. Let me see if I can find Laura's Telegram, because because you're right, Amanda. Some of the names some of these drag queens would use are just very. They're just very questionable. Oh, I've got the list here. Right. So from Laura's Telegram, so she writes, here are the names of some famous drag queens. So Penny Tration, so that's Tratation. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but if I haven't, my apologies. Rebecca Glasscock. Let's see. Ginger Minge, so it's like Minj. Trinity the Tuck. Ms. Cracker. Anna, oh fucking hell, Anna Borshin. I never even seen that one. Avery Goodley, Anne Fetamine, Olive D. Cox, Sharon Needles, I'm assuming it's supposed to be phallic cunt or something like that, but that's, and even this one here, I'm just thinking, right, who the hell, well, who exactly would name themselves this? Wait, there's one Militia Child, I think it is. So it's Malestia. So I mean, that's even or put it this way, right? Even if you were like if you were head of the library or whatever, and then you were going to bring some of these drag queens in, even just the names themselves, you would think, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have these people near children, because again, the whole point of drag queens, I completely like I'm against it myself, but it's all part of adult entertainment. Why the fuck would you want to bring stuff like that in front of children unless you want to groom them? So again, this Ethan gentleman can cope all he wants about. It's not grooming children. It's not sexualizing them. I mean, you can deny it all you want, but you just look like a fucking fool, because it's very clear as day. I mean, you don't even need to be. You don't have to look deep into it to see what's going on. It's right in your face about it. Again, even just going online and seeing all the videos about all these drag queen story hours taking place. All these drag queens would do inappropriate things in front of the kids, like twerking, and of course exposing them accidentally. And people can see this. This is just an observation of what's really happening. I think there's even one video on Jodie K's stream she played on her stream, where there was a drag queen who even the drag queen himself is saying like this stuff shouldn't be exposed to children at such a young age, especially all the stuff that they do in these clubs behind the scenes. You have an actual drag queen saying this. Like, what does that tell you? That should be a red flag right there. But of course, all these people who are very part of the agenda, like they don't give a shit. Or even if you try to point this out to them, especially stuff like the Frankfurt School and John Money, they just run away from it. I really want to know why they would run away from it. You know, again, it really gets the noggin jogging. Anyway, let me get back onto this part of the video, and then because there's one part I really want to address for this, and then we'll see from there. So anyway, 3, 2, 1. If it plays.
I don't know the argument as to why.
Oh, go on then.
Well, I'm asking.
Well, what is the
my job is to play devil's advocate.
Then what is the
right?
argument for it then?
Right, so they would have it that 4 years, 3 years old is a young age to be teaching children about sexual identity and gender politics.
They've got to learn it at some point, brother.
But
It's not about.
Yeah, that bullshit right there. Again, another fucking quote from this nonce. So, this idea that these drag queen story hours need to happen in front of kids because it's all part of. It's not only part of this idea of being progressive and whatnot, but whenever the adult is concerned about this, which of course is very understandable, and bringing up the idea of, well, we don't think 3, 4, 5-year-olds should be exposed to this type of stuff, these same gullible bastards will turn around and say, well, kids are going to learn about sexuality at some point in their lives. Yeah, not when they're like fucking 3 or 4 or 5 years fucking old. Like, that's the point we're making. I mean, yeah, we understand that. We understand the idea that kids at a certain point in their lives are going to learn about sex or sexuality, but not when they're like not when they're fucking infants, mate. Like, the ideal age, I would say it would probably be in their teens, like 13, 14, maybe 15 years old, because again, they're at that age where they're moving from childhood all up until adulthood. So of course, I mean, look, I've as a teenager, I was learning about sexuality and sex. You know, when I was a teenager, I'm sure many people in the chat have experienced that as well. Okay, it's a normal age to learn about that kind of stuff. Like, kids at that age, when they're like 3, 4, 5 years old, they don't understand the idea of, or understand the concept of sex or sexuality. All they care about is just being kids and just want to play and play toys or whatever, play games with other kids. You know, just being kids essentially. Why is it that this idea that these like groomers like want to turn around and say like, well, I mean, they're going to learn about it anyway. It's just a giant cope. It's a giant cope, and it's basically just an idea of wanting these kids to be exposed to this type of stuff, which I think is rather sickening. But I think it really does play the idea that it completely messes up with the kids, because look, see with the kids what they're going through just now, especially with all this drag queen stuff. I think it's really going to affect them in much later lives. I think it's going to make them more sexual in nature. I think it's going to be a way of just completely messing up with their mentality. I mean, just look at what we're seeing today when it comes to like stuff like OnlyFans. Most of women who sign up to OnlyFans is mainly because they are very sexual like themselves, and that's all because of based on like early age, because they're exposed to that kind of stuff at such an early age, and they shouldn't be exposed to that stuff at that age. It's sickening. It really is sickening. So I just, it's such, again, I keep saying cope, but I think that's definitely the word for this. It's a giant fucking cope. That, oh, we should teach it. Well, kids are going to learn about this stuff at some point. Well, yeah, not when they're like 3 or 4 or 5 years old. Maybe when they're like slightly older, but not at this point in their lives. Again, we're just saying, just let the kids be kids, for fuck's sake. That's all what we're saying here. Now, there is more to this video, which it's not really a long. It's about a 5-minute long video, but we'll continue on from there, and then we'll see any more with that. So let's have a look at this real quick. 3, 2, 1. Again, if it'll play, I don't know why it's not. There we
It's
go.
not a bad thing.
Yeah, but 4 years is a bit young.
Sorry, I'm definitely not talking to you.
Sorry, honey, sorry.
It's not bad at all.
Right. Okay, but right,
I
there's
disagree
people that will
with the
listen.
protest. I disagree
Right.
with the protest
Right.
because it is just a person reading a story.
Right.
Be it a man in a dress or a woman in trousers.
But that's not the issue. What they're dressed up like with their sex is not the issue.
So what's the story that's being
It's
read
the content.
today?
Yeah, but it's supposed to be about inclusivity.
Yeah, so
It's
we
supposed
should
to
be
about being-
inclusive.
Yes, we should. Yes,
We should be inclusive.
But do children need to learn?
Yes,
And that's just the
that's
answer.
just the end of it. Because I don't see the issue with it.
Because there's the sexualization
No, it
of
doesn't
children,
matter.
the gender.
It's not sexualizing children at
Teaching them
all.
about
It
gender
is.
identity.
It's
Okay,
not
what-
sexualizing
right,
children.
So what does a gender identity represent, then, Ethan?
It just represents a person. It's not. How are you sexualizing a child?
Because you're talking
Because that's
to
such a
them-
creepy thing to say.
Yeah, but
Oh my god, with the amount of like hypocrisy from this prick is astonishing. So it's not creepy to bring your child to a drag queen story hour event, having a completely degenerate, which of course for people like say Sam Samuel or Ada HD, which there have been evidence to back up the case that they were involved in a lot of really degenerate shit. So you're okay with this idea of those types of guys reading storybooks to children and possibly doing stuff in front of them? Well, that's completely fine. That's not creepy in nature, but being concerned about the child's safety and talked about how this is all like just sexualizing the whole thing, with that's creepy in your mind. Where the fuck are these people's priorities at? It amazes me that like everything that is good and pure according to Ethan is deemed bad, but everything that is bad and horrible and it should be denounced in any way, shape, or form, he sees it as like a good thing. What happened to common sense with these fucking people?
where's it all come from?
It's come from
Alfred
these bigots.
Alfred
Bigots.
Kinsey and John Money, who are both documented paedophiles. One implemented sex education in the curriculum, and the other is what did he do? He wrote a book explaining
Yeah,
about
sexual education should be in the curriculum. Of course it should.
Right.
Children should
Right,
be
so
learning these things.
At what age is it appropriate to teach children about sexual?
As soon as they have the
orientation and
cognitive ability to understand it.
What's the for?
Because as soon as you start spreading this hate, then they get confused. When you actually sit down and
no one's doing this to kids. They're all adults.
no, but what I'm saying is when you actually sit down and start talking to kids and start explaining yourself, kids are going to understand. They don't care who loves who. They don't care about
Right.
any of that.
No, because they just want to have a play. They just want to play and shit.
Right.
Kids.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
so
that's-
they're not worried about sexual orientation
But if
or
you
gender
start
politics.
including this in their vocabulary and in their mindset, that as they get
At
older,
all.
the hate disappears.
all the hate disappears. Like it's such bullshit. Well, the kids don't even understand the concept of like hate or anything like that either. So basically, it's something that we see. It's almost like the same talking points like what the government would make, especially with something like the SNP or the Scottish government, where it's like you don't want so basically they don't want the parents to be the ones who to be in the child's life and teaching the child values and all of that, because it might be deemed as hatred or anything like that at all. Which is why you have stuff like this, like the whole story, the drag queen story hour. That's why all this stuff is all about. I mean, it's not just about like promoting an agenda of destroying the traditional family unit and completely fucking over these children, especially when they grow up to be adults. But it's also a way of just I'm sorry, I'm just like a loss for words. It's just, it amazes me. But see this last part here, the video. This is where it gets a lot better. So we had Ethan here in this video talking about how kids are going to learn about this type of stuff anyway, so we might as well teach them about this now, and not promoting the idea of hatred whatsoever. I want you to keep this in mind, by the way, like when he says we should teach them about love and inclusivity and not teach them about hate. But then listen to this next part. Here's where we get the complete double standards from this fucking douchebag.
And that's the end of it. The hate disappears, bruv. If you want to stop sexualizing children, take them out of the church. Take them out of places like that, because that's where the problem lies,
Right.
not with somebody reading a story. And now I am done talking to you, so thank you.
There's your bigotry, boys.
Yeah, well, even this gentleman pointed out, it's like, I mean, because look, isn't it just hilarious? Isn't it just funny that these libtards, like all these like pro drag queen story hour types of people, so you're telling me it's completely fine for drag queens to read stories to children, even though these same drag queens have engaged in a lot of degenerate shit, like behind the scenes, away from kids and all of that. Oh, that's completely fine. We can accept that. But then, there's a possibility that church might be abusing children as well. But we should take children out with that. I mean, look, I think that there has been a history of like, priests, molesting children, especially I think like Catholic priests, like more specifically. But this idea that we should take the children out of churches because that's where the problem lies, I think, again, that's just another giant cope. Because why is it that you can say that, but you will never say exactly the same thing when it comes to these drag queens, especially what's been exposed about them as of late through Facebook posts? Jodie K talked about this on her stream. There was another video, I think, again, from the same channel, Correct Not Political. There was a gentleman who had it was in sunglasses. I think this was in Brighton, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy had a folder about this drag queen and all the stuff that they were doing, behind the scenes and whatnot. He spoke to a police officer and basically requesting for a public arrest or something to that effect. By obviously going into the library or the venue and then arresting the person on the spot. Again, like a public arrest. But the officer was like, well, I mean, I could see you've got a folder with that, but we need to have a further look into this. It's like, but the guy here has a folder that has clear as day fucking evidence that this guy is engaging in all kinds of very questionable behavior. And why should this person be around children? It's completely wrong. And the officer was like, well, sorry, we can't exactly do anything about it. It's like, but you arrest people who have done citizens arrest. That's it. Thank you, Gamma Sandwich. So it's like, okay, so you would arrest people who have done absolutely nothing wrong, but they're just protesting, which is their democratic right to do. You're fine with arresting those people, but then when it comes to this drag queen which there's clear as day evidence that they're engaged in all kinds of stuff like behind the scenes, then that's where you're like, well, we need to have a further look into this. We need to investigate this further. Like, are you kidding me? Again, where exactly are these people's priorities at? I might as well just finish off with the video, and then we'll see from there with that. I'll even also post the link again for those who might want to check the video out later on, or maybe give it a like and also subscribe to the channel, because I think this channel is a pretty good one. So, and then we'll see from there.
It's all about the church. It's all the church's fault. All the queer nonsense in the church. All the queer nonsense in the church. Yes, mate. Right. And how many paedophiles have been victims of paedophilia?
What?
Yeah, how many?
Hey, wait, I'm sorry.
Well, are we still going? Are we still going? We're still going.
Question.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Did anybody else understand that question?
No one got it. I'll say it again. I'll explain it again.
How many have been victims of paedophilia?
Yes.
I don't know, and I don't see the correlation.
You don't see the correlation. It's when you behave like that to people.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn it. It's learned behaviour.
So, as I go back to the church
Yes.
point,
Right.
there you go.
Right.
Because
There's a massive problem with the established churches across the globe. Yes,
So
I
let's
understand
get
that.
children out of there
No.
instead of our stories
No.
of the drag queen.
What children? What church?
Every church.
Every
Has
church
every
known the
church got
man,
a problem with
apparently,
paedophilia?
right?
Probably.
Well, there's the bigotry then, isn't it? Because that
Yeah,
don't make
okay.
sense. That don't. More likely. Okay. Get the away from me, you lucky.
Yeah, and there they all come like swarming around like a bunch of fucking parasites, and the police do absolutely nothing. So again, when it comes to that, it's okay to be bigoted towards one group of people, but if it's like the other way around with these libtards, then oh no, like then it's like hell and fury all over the place. It's like World War III or something like that. You just can't make this up, can you? You really cannot make this up. I bet he has a game on cleaning that tash after session. They allowed Pakistanis to groom. Why wouldn't they let the LGBT freaks? We're way past expecting the system to stop this. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. With that, which during that video, there was one thing I would have asked this Ethan gentleman, and I wish that the interviewer would maybe ask this as well. But I wonder what Ethan's perspective would have been when it comes to the whole grooming gang scandal, because I mean that. I think I don't know whether or if maybe he would answer it, or maybe it would be the case of, or I'm just done with the interview or anything like that. They're all virtually anti-Christian. Yeah, they are. They very are anti-Christian. I mean, I've seen videos of them. I think this was in America where there was this abortion law or anti-abortion law that took place. I think it's like anti-abortion. It's all to do with abortion anyway, like some states. And of course, all these feminists and all these like SJW types were all like seething and reeing all over the place. Like, oh, with my body, my choice. They're saying that, but then they were completely silent when it comes to the idea of the vaccines and all of that. But again, rules for thee, but not for thee, or some people get a free pass when it comes to saying that, but then others, no, you need to take the vaccine. I've seen some videos of some of the protests that happened there where they would just kick a Bible around, which I mean, I don't know what point that proves exactly. I think it just goes to show that these people are completely batshit insane, but that is really what really comes to expect with these types of people. So that's going to be that video. I know that was quite short and sweet, but what I will do is I'll even also posted the channel link in the chat. So again, if you guys want to give him a sub and maybe check out his content, I would highly recommend you doing so. Again, the channel is called Correct Not Political. You might have seen some of the clips of his videos on other Telegram pages like PA and whatnot. I do recommend checking out this channel. It's really good stuff. And I will actually give the presenter credit. Like, he actually does go into these protests and actually go into the lefty side, which is pretty ballsy in my opinion. So yeah, I would definitely give him a check out, and also give him a sub. Also, I definitely would recommend it. Anyway, folks, let's move on to the main topic at hand today, which is about Black Hammer. Let me take you back to October of 2020. A bit of a trip down to memory lane, so to speak. Now, I was just becoming a proper nationalist at that point, and of course, I was looking into PA. I think I was just joining PA, or just about to, if I'm not mistaken. I was starting watching a lot more content from Mark and Laura and everyone who was a PA member at that point. There was one debate I remember watching. This was hyped on all the pages. I remember seeing this, and I was looking forward to this because I remember seeing Mark's opponent, from like back in the anti-SJW days. I remember this was the same person who talked about like we should have like an actual white genocide for like white people, which I mean, that's just crazy to think. I mean, imagine if the races were reversed, then of course you would never hear the end of it. But because there's a black guy talking about white genocide, white people, suddenly there's no problem with that whatsoever, apparently. But this debate happened on October of 2020. I think it was in October. I'm not entirely too sure. But this debate was between Mark Collett, Jason Cohn, or No White Guilt, who was the moderator for that debate, and the opponent side was everyone's not so favorite sassy black warlord, that leader of Black Hammer organization, Gazi Kodzo. Now, as I said before, Gazi Kodzo, I remember seeing, again, back in the anti-SJW days. There was quite a lot of people that talked about Gazi Kodzo. I think Lauren Chen, who was known as Roman Millennial at the time, but now she goes by her real name. Andy Worski, I think, talked about this as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there was a lot of people at that time that were really talking about this guy, and they thought he was just absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure Sargon might have made a video about this as well, maybe Dankula at one point. Gamma Sandwich, even American blacks think this guy is a loon. Yeah, I remember seeing that as well, which is quite funny to see that. So what I want to do is, I have 2 articles to have a look into this as well, but I want to show you guys a snippet from this debate. Because a lot of people would say that it's not necessarily a debate. Well, it's supposed to be a debate, but it turned into a complete shit show because the debater, Gazi Kodzo, would just full to the brim of completely like low impulse control, like just was completely just shitting all over the entire debate, which at that point I can understand why people would say it was no longer a debate. It was a complete mess. And I felt bad for both Mark and Jason, because like, obviously they wanted this to be a very professionally done type of debate, but of course you had a guy there who was just a complete moron, but he claimed to.
Thank you, Mark. Right at the 5-minute mark.
Pause. But then he tries to make him sound even more intelligent. But look, we've seen it over and over again. People online who are content creators and whatnot who come off as intelligent, or they pretend to be intelligent, just sound an even bigger retard than they already do. I mean, it's no real surprise there. But let me just have a quick sip of my water, and then we'll have a look at this video together. So I watched this. Gazi is simply insane. It wasn't even a coherent debate. It wasn't. It really wasn't. Hold on a second. I think there's a notification came through. It's nothing important. Anyway, that's fine. Right then. So I'll show you guys a snippet of this debate. I don't think even Mark would call it a debate at this point, because it was just much of a fucking shit show, especially towards the very end. But anyway, let me just share the screen real quick, and then we'll get started. Let's have a look at this. So again, here's the debate itself. Is it sharing the screen? It is, yeah, perfect. Right. So again, I'll show you guys a bit, and then we'll move on to the actual articles themselves. So let me see if I can get to the proper timestamp. Here we go. So 3, 2. I know people have seen this debate already, and I know people will know what to expect, but just be prepared still. But anyway, 3, 2, 1.
So what do you and your organizations believe in addressing the solution of racial inequity? 2 minutes to you, Gazi.
I want to be very first clear of who was driving the motherfucking Lamborghini in the first place. Because whose diamonds and rubies on your rotten ass, hoe, old ass bitch of a queen's crown right now? Those are African and Indian rubies that white honky ass old crooked hope the bitch dies tomorrow with her pedophile ass son that was just motherfucking fucking girls in Jeffrey Epstein Island. That's how advanced and amazing and different white people are. Very fucking different. You came around, and your own ancestors, when they took on their ships, Marky, when they was on their ships and went around to colonize lands, you know what they said? You know what they said, dummy? They said they found the fucking Lamborghini. They said they found it in the gold that we had. Clean were. Right? One of your own white ancestors that got their dirty, broke ass coming from feudal fucking Europe that fell into an economy, a desperate, deep economy because of the Black Plague, because you white honkies can't wash your ass. You still can't wash your ass or season chicken or grow a real human-sized penis. But any which way, so that white person left Europe. And when he took his ships around the world, he said when he came to the indigenous Americas, he felt like he must have died and went to heaven because how beautiful and clean and rich and amazing the civilization was, and exposed him how barbarous he was. And the one thing y'all did bring was your diseases. That's how dirty y'all were and are. We see how you walk barefoot in McDonald's every goddamn day. So your own white people said that the Lamborghini was with me. Your own white people said that we had civilizations that to this day they still cannot understand. Your own white sciences that continuously proves that African and indigenous people know more about life, humanity, this world, earth, and the universe than you can ever truly comprehend. You crackers still to this day don't even know how we built the pyramids. And we as colonized people built pyramids all around the world while you were still
Thank
trying to
you.
fire. So
Thank
I also want to respond to.
Okay, and you can.
I also want to respond
Listen,
to
Gazi,
slavery
you can in your
of
next
white
2 minutes.
people to African
Gazi,
people
you're
because
just keep that,
African
Gazi,
slavery is what
just
birthed
keep
this
that thought.
economy that we
Just
are
keep that
currently
thought,
under.
and
We
you
are
can
not
use your
under
next
a
2 minutes.
capitalist colonial
You can
economy of
use your next 2 minutes.
enslaved people, but
Gazi,
African
you can
people. But
please
African
just
people.
keep
And when
that
we talk
thought in
about
mind, and you can use your next 2 minutes to
who
say
are
these thoughts.
slaves in Africa,
And now what we're going to do
let's talk about Henry
is
Rodham
we are
Clinton,
going to go over
who
to Mark for
assassinated
his 2
Gaddafi
minutes.
and gave power
Mark,
to
will
a
you
people that
please
put Africans to
give
slaves,
your
which is
2-minute
white power,
response to the
right
same
there.
question?
I'm done. I
Uh,
responded. He can take
okay.
his 2 minutes now, Mason.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure people would remember that part. I actually felt really bad for Jason, like, because I know he was supposed to be the moderator for that debate. But I mean, and you even saw in that clip there that he was desperately trying to tell Gazi, like, look, listen, I appreciate that, but we have to keep it in line with the time frame and all of that. So if you could just please shut up and we'll just move on. Yeah, he just Gazi would just go on and on and on. It's like, mate, just stop. Like, I think he breathes through his ass because he never stops talking. Yeah, I know. It's just pyramid builder blood. For your information, one of Gazi's ex-boyfriends left him for a white guy. That's oof. Big oof. Dear. I think he I read that one out already. That's fine. Need to wash my ears out after listening to that high junkie. Oh dear. So that was a bit of I'm just having a look through the comments as well. So exactly, debate. Handbag on the door. I remember this. Wait, was there a handbag on the door? Wait a minute. Oh, so there was. I never even saw that. He's ticking a few boxes. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think even Mark pointed out in that debate that even he made a point about how the establishment types really want these groups of people like Gazi to live or live like side by side with us, and we can clearly see from Gazi's behavior and how he just will not shut the fuck up. That clearly just it can't work, and we've seen throughout recently that it just doesn't work. And I think Gazi himself just further cements that idea. Didn't one of his white servants run for office somewhere and got 12 votes? I don't know about that. I think it would be funny with that, but then again, they did they had their own organization, Black Hammer, and I think I can't remember which state it was, but they were going to have their own Black Hammer city. So this was going to be a complete open society. There's no police force. I don't know how the hell you can have order in that case, but they had no police force whatsoever. Don Byron is with us. How you doing, Don? Thank you very much for watching the show. Yeah, with that whole debate, it was a complete shit show. So you may be wondering, well, why exactly are you bringing up Gazi Kodzo? Like, has something happened? Like, is there maybe like an update or for that at all? Well, supposedly, well, I don't know if it's supposedly. I think there's been a lot of confirmation that this indeed happened, but I do have 2 articles about Gazi Kodzo. Apparently, he was wanted for murder, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I'll get the articles up here just now. One from the Daily Dot and one from IB Times. We'll have a look at this together, and then we shall see from there. So I don't think I need that video. I was thinking if I still needed the video up, but no, I don't think I do. And I don't really need this at the moment. So that's that one opened, and then I'll get this one open. And then we'll get started with that. You can't even season your own chicken or grow a real size human penis. Like, Jesus Christ. 20 of them had to be taken to hospital. Left my ass off. Yeah, they ended up in tents, shooting bottles and burning poison wood. Roscoe, what do you think about Robin Hood being reinvented as a black female chief? I have seen that, and I think Well, I'll just say it in short at first, which stealing from the rich, and I guess is giving it to the poor, but let's just be honest. He'll probably be one of those like BLM members or the founders of BLM, and probably use the money for themselves. I don't know, but yeah, for those that don't know, there has been a recent announcement. I don't know who's going to be directing it or whatnot, but there's a new film or TV series in the works. It's a reimagining of Robin Hood, and Robin Hood is now going to be a black female instead of the traditional white man as you would normally see. Again, it's all part of this whole like what they would call as a reimagining, a reinvention of the lore or some gay shit like that. But we all know exactly it's just all part of the whole white replacement, isn't it? It's basically subverting everything that makes these stories uniquely white, uniquely European, and just subverting everything about it. So, I mean, I saw that news again. I wasn't really that surprised because we've seen what happened in the past. I mean, again, imagine if they were to take from, say, a Black Panther, right? We've seen the recent news about Black Panther, about Chadwick Boseman, or Boseman, how he is African, I guess. He died in real life, so you think, well, how are they going to replace Black Panther? I mean, imagine if they went to a very out of left field type of idea of casting a white man in the role of Black Panther. I don't think you'll ever see that, but even if that were to happen, then you would never hear the end of it. Like, oh, this is replacing black culture and all of that with white people. But if it's like an established white character being cast by a non-white, then that's completely fine. I'm sure people might remember what happened with Harry Potter when there were works of The Cursed Child, which is meant to be a stage play, if I'm not mistaken, and they casted a black woman as the role of Hermione Granger. Never mind the fact that in the books, from what I remember reading as a kid, Hermione was portrayed as a white girl, and even J.K. Rowling even pointed that out in the past. But because now everything's so fucking PC and so anti-white at this point, but trying to be all progressive and shit, now all of a sudden, canonically, Hermione is now like a black woman, which I don't understand how Rowling never said that about Hermione Granger in the past, but she's saying that now. But all right, a black shaft, don't hold your breath. Yeah, imagine if they remade a movie about the Zulus but made them all white. Yeah, exactly. Steal from the rich and the poor, motherfucker. Yeah, well, that's my point when it comes to this Robin Hood, this new reimagining of Robin Hood. My only question would that be is, well, I wonder what's going to be next. You know, I mean, they've done it to Robin Hood now. I mean, I don't know if they've done it to like King Arthur or something like that, but you know they're probably going to do it. I actually made a joke once during with PA Scotland at the St Andrews dinner we had. There might come a point where they might do some like a new film or TV series, but again, they're going to do some kind of like reimagining of, let's say, William Wallace or something like that. You know, as maybe making him as a black man than a white man. I mean, I don't know if that ever will happen. And obviously, I was joking at the time, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone were to come up with the idea of, oh, we want to do like a somewhat of a retelling of the William Wallace story, like maybe do a more historically accurate take rather than what Braveheart did. What that film tried to do. But we're going to do some changes with it. Again, this is meant to be our interpretation. Yeah, Bameheart. Exactly, DJ. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at this point they would actually go as far to do that. So, and if you try and question it, then you'd be labeled as a racist, apparently. But anyway. Anyway, let's get right into... Oh, 1 second. Keep having notifications on Twitter. Oh, it's from Felix Boro. Excellent. That's good to see. All right, then. Harambe Potter. I wouldn't be surprised with that. Chief Moody, my school roommate, Carrie Ilse, I think pronounce it, played Robin Hood in the 1993 comedy Robin Hood Men in Tights. Oh, I see. I think that was a film that was made by, what's that Jewish filmmaker? Is it Mel Brooks? I think it is. I I don't know if that's right, but I think it's Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks. Oh, I don't even know if it was directed by Mel Brooks. I think it was produced by Mel Brooks, uh, but yeah, we was Gangs of Scotland and She and the Blackobites, Robert the Beam. Yeah, it was Mel Brooks. Yeah, I thought it was Mel Brooks. Yeah, because he did quite a lot of comedies in the past. I know the PA Film Club reviewed the Western. Oh, what's the name of it? Damn it. He made the producers. I know that the Blazing Saddles. That's the name of that comedy western, which apparently is meant to be very anti-white. I've never seen the film before. I've heard of it. I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. But yeah, from what I've heard from watching PA Film Club, it does seem to come off as a very anti-white type of film. Rob Patel, formerly Roy. All right, I see. Right. Anyway, let's get into the actual main topic because we're actually an hour into the show already. I really can't believe it's been that quick. Holy crap. Let's start off with this article by the Daily Dot. Let's have a look at this real quick. It's anti-KKK. I wouldn't say it was anti-white. Oh, fair enough, yeah. Fair enough. I remember with the PA Film Club, I know there was a part where they talked about how in the film, again, I'm not entirely too sure about like the context of it being said, but some of the characters in Blazing Saddles are supposed to be Jewish, and some of the other characters are meant to be white. There was one Jewish character who says to a white character, basically saying to them, you're losing time going, or something along those lines. Again, I'm not entirely too sure about the context of that, but I remember something was discussed during the PA Film Club. I might need to give that another watch and then maybe see from there. But from what I can gather, it does come off as anti-white. But if it's meant to be like anti-KKK, I mean, okay, I can maybe see that. But anyway, let's have a look at this article by the Daily Dot. From the Daily Dot, ex-Black Hammer members detail Gazi Kodzo's abusive cult, which culminated in arrest for kidnapping and sexual assault. Oh dear. Black Hammer's Gazi Kodzo was arrested on kidnapping charges. Former members say it's happening to them. Sorry, excuse me. On Tuesday, July 20th, police responded to a possible hostage situation in Fayetteville, Georgia. Fayette, something like that. Is in Georgia, and nonetheless, a suburb of Atlanta. According to reports, someone called 911 to say they'd been kidnapped. At least 10 people willingly exited the home, but one remained inside. Police later found the man dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Augustus C. Romaine and another individual now face multiple charges over the incident. Neither has been charged in the person's death, which has been ruled a suicide. Romaine, who faces 7 charges, including aggravated sodomy, Jesus Christ, conspiracy to commit a felony, false imprisonment, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and criminal street gang activity, is better known as Gazi Kodzo. The address in question is a home to Black Hammer, the organization Kodzo runs that ostensibly fights for the rights of the oppressed. Yeah, my arse is oppressed. Those that knew Kodzo accused them of operating it like a cult. Over the past year, former members spoke out against Kodzo, releasing a Google Drive file with testimonials that allege abuse, manipulation, and other frightening behavior. Their online effort has tried to keep people away from Black Hammer, highlighting the experiences they've had that left them shaken to their core. Black Hammer, which says its goal is to repatriate land to colonize people and supports Pan-African ideology, has been better known for its online stunts. It conducted. Actually, I think I remember one of the stunts that actually came back to my mind. Wasn't it true there was actually one stunt Gazi Kodzo pulled at a local gas station? It was, I don't know what was the reason for it, but Gazi was trying to make it out as if like, oh, you're oppressing me because I'm black or something like that. I don't know if the store or the gas station clerk was a white man or an Asian man or something like that. But I remember one of those videos at the time, and I was just like, what the hell is this? But anyway, moving on from there, it conducted a campaign on Twitter to brand Anne Frank a Karen. Oy vey, and used social media to live stream its in-person antics. In the warrant for their arrest obtained by the Daily Dot, police say that Kodzo ordered individuals to point guns at two people and force them into a padlocked garage. It's an accusation that matches testimonial from the Google Drive, where a former member says Kodzo and members of Black Hammer forcibly detained her and often brandished weapons. Police in the warrant say that Kodzo anally raped at least one person at gunpoint, while the police, well, I wouldn't be surprised he would do something like that because, you know, he's a butt pirate himself. But anyway, while the police were still surrounding the house before they were arrested, Kodzo, who uses they them pronouns, went on Facebook Live and expressed their excitement at what was occurring. Why would you be excited about that? Like, God Almighty! In the live stream, Kodzo claimed, "This is a quote from Kodzo. There's a lot of media out here. This is just going to build me up at the end of the day. If you think that I'm concerned or anything like that, you're out of your mind. At the end of the day, there's still breath in my body. I still run an amazing revolutionary party. Our community is with us, and now all these news channels are going to want to interview us, and we are going to get to communicate about all the great work that we are doing here." Wait, how fucking delusional do you have to be? Like, what great work? What, threatening people, abusing them, be it physical assaulting people, raping people? Like, how exactly is that great work? Exactly, how is that going to get people on your side? Even Gamma Sandwich in the chat even said that even American blacks even look at this guy and think, well, this guy's fucking crazy. I want nothing to do with him. Like, how is this like good optics for both him and his organization in any way, shape, or form? It's total delusion, complete delusion from this guy's part. Let me see here. Where was I? I think it was about, let's see, going to communicate about all the great work that we are doing here. So this is great at the end of the mother freaking day, as I would imagine you would say. Instead, the day ended with someone dead. Prior to Tuesday's incident, the group's history also includes a long string of abuse allegations, a recent coalition with the Proud Boys, oh dear, a commune that fell apart in a standoff, and accusations of harassment across Atlanta's many college campuses. Behind all of this is the self-styled Commander Kodzo. The group in Kodzo itself attracted members and gained media attention through its extensive and aggressive use of social media. The organization has an unabashedly confrontational style, using Instagram to directly threaten police officers and call for the Supreme Court to abolish integration. So I would imagine this is like one of the posts that they made. Everyone is asking, what is Black Hammer's stance on Roe versus Wade being overturned? We are excited by this development. We hope the next decision by the conservative Supreme Court is to abolish integration. I mean, like, I'll get to that in a minute. That way our people can be self-governing and create an equal and fair society among ourselves, land back. Well, then why not just go back to your ancestral homeland? I really want to save this point to the very end, but see, with all these black nationalists and all these like black revolutionaries, if you will, by Gazi Kodzo and the like, it's like, okay, if you want your people to to prosper and live peacefully and all of that, which, you know what, I'm in favor of. I want my people to live and prosper and to be safe and sound. I want your people to live, prosper, and live safe and sound, just like how you would say about that. I would want Asians to live and prosper and be safe and all of that, so on and so forth. Ideally, I would want that to happen with your lot back in your ancestral homeland. Which, I mean, because again, Gazi Kodzo, I remember, would talk about how Africa is this great continent with so much great resources that the dreaded white man took away from them. But even with resources still being in Africa, the black people just barely did anything with it. Instead, they made like fucking mud houses or mud huts, I should say. I mean, it's that point. I mean, if you really want your people to prosper, why not just move? Just go put this over, sorry, real quick. Why not just move over to like your ancestral homeland? Why not just go back to the continent of Africa and then move to any African nation? After all, as I said, he makes claims about how Africa is this great continent. Well, it's like, well, why not just fucking move over all the way there? And I think I know the answer to that, because Gazi Kodzo, as you all can, if you all could tell, he's a butt pirate. He's into males rather than females. So, when it comes to the continent of Africa, I mean, I think in all the nations of Africa, the continent itself, from what I remember, is a very religious place. Very Christian areas, but also very Islamic areas as well. Sure, there might be some black Jews over there, but they wouldn't be looked at as. But the actual Jews wouldn't see them as actual Jewish. But I'm sure there are blacks who do practice Judaism and all of that. So of course, the continent itself is, of course, very religious. So if Gazi were to move over there, I mean, God knows what would have happened. To Gazi Kodzo, if he were to move there, he would have. I would imagine he would have to suppress his own inner sexuality and whatnot, because if that were to be exposed in front of the African public, let's just say we would never have heard from him ever again. I'll keep it as that. Anyway, just as it has grown online, so too has the backlash. Alongside the Google Drive, campaigns cropped up on Reddit. There's a website again to warn members of the group's efforts, and several Twitter accounts began documenting concerns over the group exposing Black Camera. So this is one of the Twitter groups or Twitter accounts. Remember, Gazi was an abuser with a god complex through and through. This other picture did not age well either. Black Camera cult / 35-year-old Gazi preys on young adolescents, and it needs to end. The following media includes potential sensitive. Let me just come back onto my screen just in case there's anything. If that is the case with that. All right, well, it's not like anything too bad, but let me just get back onto here real quick. Let's see. Right, so these are the images in question. We'll just have a look at this real quick. Let me see here. If it will load. Right, so this one image is like text messages from from someone and to Gazi. Stop being a sucker and drop this house nonsense. We all not be paying a dime on it, no matter what. We are done. With this, y'all have to stop acting like children. Unity Commander. This is just stupidity at this point. You have a million other things to be focusing on. Don't entertain any more conversations about this fucking fake ass house. Stop sending money to Africa. They either raise it or they don't have it. I don't care if they need $20 or for a heart transplant, and they all will die. They better raise it on their own. Land back Unity Commander. Land back Commander would starting a GoFundMe for comrades in Gambia for them to promote contradict your directive about not sending money to Africa that they don't raise. We would only send them what they raise on there. I just wanted to confirm before we move forward. Okay, so he's basically a bit of a fucking LARPer then, right? Love recruiting young shooters. There we go. There's images of them there. That's that. All right, well that's that then. Move on from that. Right, with Kodzo still now in that. So, sorry, excuse me. Indicated on multiple charges, it's unclear the future of Black Hammer. Kodzo is currently awaiting a bail hearing and could not be reached for comments. The Daily Dot was unable to discern if they had legal representation who could speak for them. Multiple inquiries to Black Hammer through its social media and contact form went unanswered for this piece. What's this? Savvy, who went by the name when she was with Black Hammer, says she feared for her life when she began to leave the organization, which she joined when she was 22 years old. In a video testimonial shared with the public via Google Drive, and later in a video interview with the Daily Dot held before the most recent events at the Black Hammer house in Fayetteville, Savvy described her experience. Is it Fayetteville or Fayetteville? Either way, anyway. Savvy joined the organization in March of 2020, moving in with a chapter of the group in North Carolina, later moving to Colorado, and then finally Georgia. After beginning as a social media content producer for Black Hammer, Savvy rose through the ranks of the organization. Eventually, Kodzo handpicked Savvy to serve as his personal chief of staff. Her role as a social media content producer for the group played an essential role in the growth of the group, which attracted members through its aggressive posting. A year and a half after joining the group, Savvy, who had been growing disillusioned, says she awoke to Kodzo screaming at her, demanding she go outside. When Savvy went outside, she said members of Black Hammer began removing Savvy from the organizational chats and telling her she could no longer live at the Hammer house. Well, the group called residents in the suburbs south of Atlanta. The Hammer house Savvy lived in was a different rented home than the one where Kodzo was arrested. Kodzo had forced members of the group to relocate before. According to the testimonials released, and now Savvy was being told she needed to move in with a branch of the group in North Carolina. She says she picked up a knife and screamed at members departing the house. Although she wanted to leave the group for good, she eventually relented after Kodzo called her days later and asked her to come back. In her own words, Savvy stated, in order to save people moving in with a chapter of Black Hammer in North Carolina, Once Savvy arrived in North Carolina, she says Kodzo ordered the group to visit the Atlanta area, bringing Savvy right back to the house she escaped from. Wait, what was the whole point of that exactly? What was the whole point of having her move over to this location, but then and be part of this group, but then going all the way back to where she was? Like, what was the whole point of that? Was that just a big power play, or was it just that fucking stupid? God. Anyway, it's like, all right. There, Savvy says she found a paranoid Kodzo on high alert, closely watching the group and brandishing guns. Savvy planned yet another escape, this time fleeing the Hammer house in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm in August of 2021. Since leaving Black Hammer for good, Savvy said her tires have been slashed. She's shared images from a targeted online harassment campaign with her name, address, and social security number being spread. Savvy said she was forced to hand over that information at gunpoint. Solimar said to the Daily Dot that they spent 2 years in the group and were in close contact with Kodzo, having joined 7 months after the group was founded in early 2019. Solimar said they were present for both of Savvy's escapes and confirmed the story to the Daily Dot. Solimar themselves said they witnessed abuse within the group and had to orchestrate their own escape in the midst of being moved around the country by the group's leadership. Solimar organized in secret, coordinating with people they trusted who booked a flight and allowed them to slip away. Black Hammer exists as an extension of their leader, Gazi Kodzo, born Augustus C. Romaine Jr. in Stone Mountain, Georgia in 1986. Kodzo was adopted previous personas and identities. One of the first personas adopted by Kodzo is that of Smiletone, a wannabe YouTube celebrity who Cosmopolitan magazine said emailed them and called them Cosmo's self-proclaimed #1 fan. Okay, a former member who was Black Hammer's chief of agitation described above all else a desire for internet fame by Kodzo, saying they'd become a clout demon. The mission of the group is ostensibly to repatriate land back to oppressed people, with Black Hammer saying it represents breaking the chains of colonization. Can't even fucking say it. colonialism and building a self-determined future for all colonized people worldwide. But their social media chief said in a recorded testimonial that the addiction, quote unquote, to likes and retweets triumphed over an actual mission. Right. So again, like I said, he's basically like a giant LARPer. This whole thing about wanting to help the oppressed, quote unquote, and helping out the non-whites, if you will. It's all just a giant LARP. Like it was all about the fame, the attention, and the e-horn. Basically, that's all what he seemed to care about. He doesn't really give a damn about anyone but his own fame and his own entire ego. That's what what all boils down to. That pretty much explains everything, then, doesn't it? It really does explain everything. And it left him jaded with Kodzo destroying online partnerships he built. Since Black Hammer began in early 2019, former members said that everyone has left the group, although no numbers are available as to how many people remain and how many have departed. A group of these ex-members, including Xavi, created the video and written testimonials describing the abuse they said they experienced, which was publicly released. 3 of the co-founders also wrote and released a formal disavowalment of the group and a condemnation of Kodzo. In the disavowalment, the co-founders highlighted the idealistic vision at the center of the group's founding and placed the blame squarely on Kodzo for transforming the group from a vehicle of liberation to one of abuse and toxicity, motivated by their desire for money and fame. Throughout the documents, co-founders and ex-members describe the use of control tactics that they say Kodzo adopted in an effort to keep his grasp on the group. Black Hammer gained its first of incendiary fame with Kodzo's April 30th, 2020 tweet attacking Anne Frank as a Becky and a Karen. This tweet became part of a longer social media campaign by the group to stir up attention. The group went on to announce their intention to burn the diary of Anne Frank, as detailed in an extensive expose by Red Voice. The action was part of Black Hammer's Operation Storm of White Tears, but Anne Frank was not white, she was Jewish, but okay, whatever. An alleged leaked document from the group describes a plan to manufacture a controversy around Black Hammer to popularize our narrative. According to members, Kodzo's behavior shifted as people continued to leave the group. One entire chapter of members says they broke off from Kodzo's central leadership, citing mismanagement of funds and repeated abuse behavior from Kodzo. Gazi has been manipulating, threatening, and abusing members for who knows how long. He uses fear, political education, and gaslighting to control dozens of young adults, especially folks fresh out of high school or college. That's from one Twitter account about this. According to Savvy, how long is this article? Inside the Hammer House, a series of different houses rented by the group in the Atlanta suburbs, a closet full of guns would sit at ready, guns that Kodzo and other members were not shy about showing off online. Members were not allowed romantic relationships with non-members, and Kodzo dictated who would be romantically involved, according to the Red Voice expose. In another former member's testimonial, they described threats of violence and armed members not allowing people to leave. Sawi described in an interview how Kodzo, holding a gun and backed up by armed members of his defense, forced other members to sign over control of the group's bank accounts to Kodzo. Wow, that's God, like how much control do this guy really needs? I mean, now it's like controlling other people's bank accounts. That's like that should be a red flag for many people to be like, I need to get out of here. I need to get away from this group. This guy is fucking nuts. In late 2020, Kodzo launched Black Hammer's Revolutionary Church, where they adopted the persona of a preacher. What was it? A revivalist preacher. The meetings held in a park in downtown Atlanta were also live streamed on the Black Hammer YouTube channel. With the Revolutionary Church, Black Hammer attempted to reach out directly to unhoused individuals in the area, offering them food and secondhand clothing. But the efforts brought run-ins with Atlanta police. Since then, the group has been using Instagram to call police officers in Atlanta. They've shared pictures of a cop who they say unjustly arrested a Black Hammer member and led an online campaign to dox the officer involved, asking the public for information on him. That's fucked. That is beyond fucked. Let's see here. Black Hammer also began an aggressive campaign on street fundraising, which members claimed was to support individuals experiencing homelessness, though ex-members alleged the funds went back to Black Hammer. No surprise there. Black Hammer began targeting college campuses around Atlanta. Well, I mean, just point out something real quick. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that any fundraising that Black Hammer were going to be doing, I guarantee it was not going to give it to like groups of people or anything like that at all. I guarantee that would go straight back into the organization, or maybe even go into Gazi Kodzo's pockets. I mean, after all, I just read out a text message from one member to Gazi Kodzo, where Kodzo pretty much says that he doesn't really care about the African people, but he cares more about his own benefits and his own money anyway. So who's to say that fundraising was not for, like, save like the homelessness that people been affected, but it's actually going to go straight back to the organization? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the case whatsoever. Black Hammer began targeting college campuses around Atlanta. It did not go unnoticed. Towards the end of 2021, members of the university communities began posting warnings about the group on subreddits for the local colleges. Students complained that Black Hammer fundraisers followed them and continued to push for donations even after students declined. Some students described insults from the fundraisers when they said no. Others described changing their routines to avoid the group. Like, that's just fucking scummy. That's really just scummy. And here's some of the Facebook posts. Oh no, sorry, the Reddit posts about this as well. One user writes, I felt very pressured by them and kind of harassed, to be honest, to make the donation in the moment, but I definitely should have stood my ground and not made any donations until I did more research on them. Lesson learned, and thanks for the resource. I just gave them 10, which I'm assuming like 10 cents or whatever. Avoid anti-Semitic and anti-vax. The leader made a huge post about Anne Frank and Frank a colonizer. Well, as a Jewish student, I really wish I'd known this before donating. It was only a few bucks, but still. Okay, then a lot of Jews kind of like spurring out about that. But anyway, some people who donated to the group expressed regret after learning about more about them. The group's public Venmo page shows over, what the hell is Venmo? Anyway, shows over 100 donations from December 2021 to February of 2022, with transfers listed as being for donation, coat, and sleeping bags. Under one transfer, a user asked for the money back. Dr. Alex Cummings, a professor at Georgia State University, said she was followed and filmed by the group. According to Cummings, the group was asked for donations outside the building she taught in nearly every single day. Cummings described to the Daily Dot how the fundraisers would allow her get in her space and act aggressive and hostile. This is a tweet from them as well. In the last year, members of the Black Hammer cult group have harassed me, followed me, gotten way into my personal space, and shouted obscenities at me. They're on our campus trying to fleece college students for donations, and today things escalated a lot. So it's kind of funny to see this, because you know how groups like Hope Not Hate and all these like left-wing or counterterrorism and all of that would call groups like Patriotic Alternative as a very hostile or very aggressive, very like just like a really bad organization to be a part of. Well, here you have an example of Black Hammer being exactly that. They're hostile, they're aggressive. If you do not do anything that they tell you to do, that they will show it how it is. It's just like an organization you would not be a part of, Black Hammer being one of them. But of course, Black Hammer is a group that's filled with Black people, and of course, it's I guess maybe like left-leaning somewhat. Then of course a group like that would definitely just get a free pass regardless. But anyway, Cummings spoke out but was rattled by the event. The whole situation left her feeling paranoid and unsure if retribution would follow. According to Dr. Cummings, only members of her department also felt harassed by the group. But that isn't Black Hammer's only trouble with local communities. Wait, there's more? Oh, surely there's not more, is there? In July of 2020, so last month, Black Hammer announced a new project, Hammer City. I remember this. I think it was even brought up during Mark's debate with Gazi Kodzo. But anyway, a free utopian commune run by the group on land outside Telluride, Colorado. That's the place. Black Hammer extensively fundraised for the project. Before the land deal went through, Black Hammer began occupying the plot. The situation reached a climax in May of 2021 when the group allegedly blocked public roads to the community with their vehicles. When one neighbor went to confront the group on May 16th, 3 armed men approached him and one drew a handgun. The neighbor responded in kind by raising an unloaded shotgun at the group. In a police report obtained by the Daily Dot, Kodzo is listed as the only suspect. It appears charges were never filed. Why would you never file any charges, especially when you have like 3 or 4 guys basically pointing guns at you because you won't do exactly what they're telling you to do? I mean, come on now. You should definitely press charges for that. Fuck them. While Black Hammer had put down $10,000 to purchase the land through a different business, the deal fell through. Back in Atlanta, after the deal fell through, Godzo's online persona shifted. In the video, Kodzo unleashed a screed against Antifa and Black Lives Matter while jumping around in Joker makeup. An inclination toward far-right politics appeared to be manifesting as well. In a live stream with Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes, Kodzo claimed Black Hammer and the Proud Boys were forming a coalition. Sweet Jesus. Even before the public coalition, Kodzo threatened members with violence from the Proud Boys. Although the group announced their alignment, there is no evidence of actual coordination and cooperation between the Proud Boys and Black Hammer. But Black Hammer has pivoted in its posting to outwardly for right-wing politics, endorsement of Russia invasion of Ukraine, and cheering its military victories while supporting the Supreme Court banning Roe v. Wade. But regardless of its online persona, it's a group that exists now only at the whims of Kodzo and what ex-members call their cult of personality. As Kodzo sits in a jail cell, though, there is no telling where the group might go. Well, there you have it with the first article. I know that was quite lengthy, but I think for that one, it was just to give you a bit of a background with Gazi Kodzo and of course where I was at. Martin W., do you think Anne Frank's diary is made up? Well, I've heard bits and pieces about Anne Frank from what I remember. There was one theory that someone brought up about how it was written in what type of pen was that? I can't remember exactly the name of the pen, but basically the types of pens that was written for the pages for the diary. Apparently, those pens were made after the war, but I mean, I don't know. But that's only just a theory. I don't know whether or not if that might be true or not. But that's what I've heard. But other than that, I've always heard that Anne Frank's diary is true and somewhat gospel. You never deny it whatsoever. But anyway, that's what I've heard. Biro pen, that's it from Rory Herbert. Thank you, Rory. Yeah, I think it was written in Biro pen, but those types of biro pens, from what as I said, were not invented until maybe just after the war, around about maybe 1952 or 3, somewhere like that, during the 50s. I know that. Carol Saxon, Martin W. No, they would never lie to us to push a certain narrative. It's very dark in there, Moody. Yeah, I know. I don't know where the sun's been at, but I mean, it's not dark. It's not like that one episode I did with Joe Marsh when I was talking about the Grooming Gang scandal, where it was just almost pitch black. You couldn't really see me. I mean, the only thing that was missing from that episode with me in the dark, and the song plays, hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. That was the only thing that was missing during that episode. I think Sam, who's in the chat, even pointed out, was like, Jesus Christ, man, you get a light. Dear. Woodlander's in the chat. Hello, Woodlander. How you doing? Oh no, sorry, that's from it's a different comment I saw you posted. Chief Rudy, you seem to have had your ears lowered. You think so? I don't know about that, but all right, fair enough. Okay. Thanks, Woodlander. I'm not really too sure about that, but Steve Shaw is with us. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Anne Frank's dad wrote the book, State Organized Terrorism. Oh, sorry, I'm late. No worries, Earl of Stair. Thank you very much for watching. Mentally Ill Attention Seeker. Yeah, from Gazi Kodzo. Green Dragon. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Stop. Fayetteville, right? That's it. Thank you for that, Roy. Fayetteville, right? He's got to use to live in 2-story buildings with doors. Yep. That's with that because of who wants to live in 9% of Africa is a shithole. Gold jock. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yep. That's where I'm all up to date with that, right? Fair enough. Woodlander, they admitted it was fate. Her father was taken to court by the chap that wrote it. Oh, I see. Right. So they flat out admit it. Fair enough then. Because I would imagine like if you were to say that out in public, it's like, oh no, you can't say that. Like you should be arrested. That's anti-Semitic. But if that's out of the open that is it's indeed somewhat fake, especially what you just mentioned there, Woodlander. Then fair enough. Then okay. But yeah, even prior to that comment being made, I mean, that's what I've known about the whole Anne Frank thing, especially fairly recently. It was written in Byropen. Again, they were not released until after the war. But anyway, that's already made that point. Anyway, I'm not saying it's not true, but it would be good propaganda for the Jewish cause. Yeah, by Martin W. Yeah, fair point with that. Fair point. BP Jordy, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching. Been a long time since I visited your channel, Chief Rudy. I think I first came here when the old Patriotic Talk lads did a friendly raid on your channel. When did you start showing your face? Well, honestly, with that, I started showing my face. Well, I was doxxed back in November last year by Hope Not Hate. I didn't start showing my face in front of a camera from a live stream until episode 88. That's the one where I had Kenny Smith on as a guest, and that was back in July. I think it was like the July 14th, if not mistaken. Complete coincidence. I want to add, but with that, complete utter coincidence with that. But yeah, that's what. Ever since then, because I was saying, but when I was doxxed back in November, it's like, well, my face is out there now anyway. So I not just within the Hope Not Hate article, but when I appear in other streams or other videos by Patriotic Alternative, I kind of figured, well, I mean, cat's out of the bag. I might as well just show my face entirely. So from episode 88 and onwards, I've just decided, screw it, I'm just going to show my face entirely. I'll probably might need to get like a better camera because right now I'm using my built-in laptop camera. So I'll definitely see if I can get that all sorted up with that at some point. I'll need to also get something for future videos in terms of that. I caught up with the Glasgow WLM photos, Moody. Excellent work, man. That's brave to go right into the city centre. It is, yeah. I mean, especially at that point. I mean, there were still quite a few people that were around. I always thought it was really funny, though, right? So there was. I'll say this right, not just with PA Scotland, but I know a lot of activists, whether it be from PA or like non-PA, like any other nationalist group, there would be slight concerns about going into an actual city centre, being around other people who might not share our opinions, even though there's nothing. Put the sheets on. One second, Steve Shaw. I know there'll be concerns, sharing our opinions in front of the general public because they might not necessarily agree with the points we make. But we go in there nonetheless, especially for something that may be done for Indigenous Peoples Day this coming Tuesday. And even when we were out there, we were not being confronted or anything like that at all. Even though they could have easily come up to us and say, excuse me, but what exactly are you doing? Why are you putting up a sign that says White Lives Matter on these statues? Even though we were not there to deface the statues, we were not causing any violence. We were not going to be aggressive or anything like that at all if people were to come up and talk to us about it. I mean, if anything, for what I've said on the previous episode, we've actually had one person who sparked out because we put up a sign of White Lives Matter on top of the King William of Orange statue. And that's because the woman in question was an actual Protestant. But that's it. But even then, there was another person that came up and said, like, give us a thumbs up. I took a photograph of us doing the banner drop in front of of City Hall, I think it was. It's one of the photographs that's posted on the PA Scotland page. I do know that. So yeah, there's that. And even afterwards, like later on, so it got to about maybe just towards the end of maybe just approaching 11 o'clock or somewhere like that. We were on the M8 bridge. We've done all of that. We did the banner drop there. We were all starting to get ready to go home. So around about later on that day, about say 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we started seeing posts on Twitter of people who were there in the city centre of Glasgow, whether it be at George Square or whether it be another location we did the other statues in. And all these same people would have the same talking points of, oh, it's so enraging that these neo-Nazi fascists are putting up these placards that read White Lives Matter on the statues, despite the fact they were in the area themselves. They could have, as I said, they could have easily come up to us and confronted in person, but instead all they did was they just stood back, took a photograph or maybe recorded a video, and then post or make a tweet about it with some snarky remark. And it's like, so basically they're just keyboard warriors and they won't actually go out and do the actual confrontation in person. They're complete fucking cowards. So I would definitely say, I've said this on the previous episode, but I might as well say this here. For anyone who is planning on doing any activism of any kind, whether it be with PA or any other nationalist group, if you're cautious or if you're a bit concerned about maybe any potential confrontations you may face from the general public, don't be concerned, because 9 times out of 10, people really will not say a single thing whatsoever, but they will say something but online, on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media platform, instead of actually coming up to you in person and maybe confront you then. I mean, that's basically the basic gist of it. So, but yeah, they are cowards. They just want to virtue signal for God, for God, boy, girl, upcomings on social media. Fair enough, JB Jordy. Fair enough. But yeah, it definitely is virtue signaling. It's the prime example of virtue signaling. Yeah, like good boy or girl. Fair enough. What time is it now? 6:37. Right. Okay. Fair enough. I do have the other Gazi Kodzo article. I think what I'll do, yeah, indeed, Steve Shaw, embrace the struggle. What I will do is I will get my glasses out in a moment. Hold on one sec. 1 second. I might as well just do that for a moment. Make it a bit like a surprise kind of a thing, but I'll be back in a moment. You can bear with me just a second. I don't know if I might want to put the light on, because again, it's not dark, but it certainly isn't like bright or anything like that at all. I think the sun is like it could be my best friend when it comes to these live streams, because it helps with the lighting, if you will. But anyway, so hold on a sec. Got my aviators on. The only reason I have that is because of the whole my avatar. But anyway, 3, 2, 1. There we go. There we go, Steve Shaw. I got my aviators on. Excuse me. I would wear these, but the problem is that because I'm inside, obviously that might look very suspicious. I'm not on drugs, by the way. I just put them on with regard to that. But I don't know. I've always kind of like maybe something I should have asked, maybe the overall chat, but. I know my avatar has have glasses on or anything like that at all, but I don't know. Would you guys be fine with me wearing aviators all throughout Mood of the Nation, or maybe not, because again, it might look pretty sus? What I'll do is I'll ask you guys the question, right? Should I have aviators on throughout the episode of every Mood of the Nation? Because again, with the avatar and whatnot. So press 1 for yes, or press 2 for no. And I'll wait for the response for the chat. And again, entirely up to yourselves with that, whether it be yes or no. I personally wouldn't have the glasses on throughout the episode, because, like I said, wearing them indoors, it might come off as a little bit sus. Yeah, already it's got 2. Again, that's fair enough. Even I wouldn't, as I said, wouldn't really put them on throughout the episode. But anyway, let's see what else is said in the chat. Wear them from Streaky Bacon. So, yep. It's pretty much overwhelmingly 2s at the moment. So again, that's fair enough. I mean, that's fine. Wherever you feel comfortable, mate. All right, fair enough. maybe I might like maybe I'll actually I should have maybe done that at the start. Actually, maybe I can wear them at the start of the episode, and then of course take them off, and then that sort of idea. But we'll see. We'll definitely shall see with that. In general life, someone wearing sunglasses indoors is a bit twatish, but for live streaming, you wouldn't be the first to do so. Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. I know some people. I think the one I could think of is like Razor Fist or the Rageaholic. I know he wears like glasses indoors, but it's all part of his persona. It's all part. I don't know if you want to say like maybe like a character kind of a thing, but it's all part of that type of idea. Maybe through the intro. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Linda Hunter. I could just wear these at the start of the intro. Doing the introduction and whatnot. Welcome to Mood of Nation. Once I've done that, then I'll take them off and then proceed further on with the rest of the episode. I actually could also do that when I'm on future streams, actually, with other people. Do the stream outside, then you're good. Well, I would do the stream outside, but again, I'm in an area where the houses I live in are pretty closed in, if you know what I mean. So it's like attached houses type of idea. So can you wear a burqa, please? I mean, I'm not gonna wear a burqa, all right? I'm not a woman, but I mean, it could be a good idea to do it outside, maybe in a completely different location, but not where I'm at just now. Because I think it's kind of funny because it's not like a political area where I'm in, but I would imagine some people who might be, there's a lot of people who are quite nosy and getting into other people's businesses. So I would imagine when they're hearing the stuff that I'm saying, they might maybe raise their eyebrow and think, wait, what's going on here? But I don't know. That might be a good idea for a future episode, but maybe not at the back garden have at the moment. But that is a good idea, English Rose. Thank you very much for pointing that out. So that would be a good idea at some point. Get a big fur hat. Dangerfield's got one. He doesn't wear it anymore. Oh, yeah, right. That's fair enough. Do you know, I was also thinking as well, folks, I don't know if this might be also a very silly thing to do, but I do have a suit that I've worn at three conferences. One at the PA Scotland conference, and I've worn the suit twice at the main PA conference. So one last year back in autumn or in October, and the one earlier this year. So I don't know if I should maybe wear that suit for the episodes as well. I mean, I think that it would be kind of silly to do so. I was thinking about wearing the suit for the 100th episode, but again, I don't know whether or not if that might be something to do for all the future episodes, because I know Mark, for his show PWR or any other stream he does, I know he wears like a black shirt, again, just to get that more like professional look with that. And also you could even say like Jason or No White Guilt, down a little bit. No suit, just be you, man. All right, fair enough. All right, I won't do that. I'll definitely wear the suit for the 100th episode, as again part of the whole celebration aspect of it regarding to that. So yeah, even everyone's saying just be you. Again, that's fair enough. I still have the other article. Right, what I'll do is I'll just briefly go over the other article. I don't think it'll be like much with it anyway. I think it's really Arrested After Fun. I mean, it's kind of something I've already went through anyway, but let me have a look at this. Gazi Kodzo, the leader of a fringe I mean, it's pretty much similar to what I've already read. I mean, the one article I've read is basically more in depth with it, I would say. But yeah, this is all just basically exactly the same with it. Yeah, I think there's really no point with it. If you guys want to have a read for it through it yourselves, I'll post a link in the chat, and then that's entirely up to yourself. Wear a full kilt. I mean, it's surprising I've not worn a kilt at the conferences, but then again, there's that idea of yes, keep your suit for occasions. Yeah, fair enough. I mean the kilt thing, I could wear it, but it'd be kind of silly if like doing a show wearing a kilt, but you can't really see the lower part. I mean, I would need to have to constantly stand up, and then that way you could see my kilt. Probably wouldn't be a good idea to maybe lower the camera and then maybe see down there. Having a more casually attired look can create a more cozy, welcoming vibe. Maybe better to draw some passing normies in. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. BP Jordan, that's a very fair point. Yeah. So with the suit thing, I'll probably do that for like special occasions, whether it be conferences. Again, like I said, I'll definitely wear a suit for the 100th episode because to me, I know it's only like a web series type of thing, but that's a bit of a special occasion because it's the 100th episode. And the aviators thing, again, I could possibly maybe wear them at the start of the episode and then take them off once I've done my introduction. You would have to stand up, yeah, of course. Wear a chief's headdress like a red Indian and use war paint on your face, Chief Moody. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Don't bend over in Hammer City. No, definitely not. It's the equivalent of saying don't drop the soap when you're in prison. But anyway, I just thought I'd point that out there. Yeah, so that's. I mean, I've covered the whole Gazi Kodzo thing. That's pretty much done and dusted. I've responded to one video that was on the Correct Not Political channel. So I guess the only thing I can really mention is what's on my mind. And there has been something that's been on my mind. Maybe a McMoody tartan shirt. Yeah, I'll definitely see with that. I'll definitely come up with something in the future with that, but we'll definitely see. There was something I want to maybe McMoody. There is something I want to mention as well in terms of like future episodes. I have been thinking as of late to have another guest on the show. Now, there's two in particular I really want to bring on the show at one point. It's either Ochiai-san, who is a Japanese nationalist who's been in the chat a few times. I've been in his chat a few times as well. We've expressed interest in appearing on each other's shows. The problem with that, though, is time differences. I know he's a Japanese nationalist from Japan. He is about 7, 8, maybe 9 hours ahead of us. So it might be a little bit difficult to maybe have him on unless I could do the show a bit earlier, especially being on a Sunday. If it's not that, then the other guest I really want to have on the show at one point is Katie Fanning. Now, I know people have seen her, or previously known as Paris, with that. Now, I know there's a lot of people who have seen her on other streams. Like, I think she appeared on PA Talk a couple of times. She appeared on PWR, another couple of streams here and there. But she's basically the, well, I don't want to say the female Joe Marsh, but she's very popular. She's like a very well spoken, very outspoken, very respected member within the nationalist scene. So it is either one of those two I want to bring on. I think it's more likely to have Katie Fannin on the show. Obviously, she lives in the UK, but the problem with that, though, is I've heard she's going through a lot of legality stuff at the moment with like court hearings and whatnot because of what's been happening with her with like university and whatnot. So I don't know if that might be in the way. Like she would like to come on, but she can't because of prior engagements. But there's no harm in asking her, of course, and we'll definitely see with that. With Ochiai-san, again, I'll need to ask him. I know I've said in the past I would like to have him on. Obviously, the other stuff has been in the way. So, and of course, the whole time differences. I don't know if that will be the one I'll need to record the episode and then upload it as like an actual, like a premiere, but not like a live episode. But the problem with that, I always want to make these shows live because I want the audience to be part of the engagement with the show as well. Instead of being like uploaded as a premiere type of video. But we'll see with that. We'll definitely see with that. Kate is amazing. She is, yeah, from what I've seen, yeah. What was I saying with that? But yeah, that's really what's been on my mind as of late for any future guests. GB Jordy, or sorry, BP. I keep saying GB. Sorry, BP Jordy. I recently saw Katie on Red Ice, and yet again she spoke very impressively. So she'd be a great guest. However, it would be interesting to hear what the struggle is like for our Japanese compatriots. Exactly. So it's very either or of the two. So I know there's other people I really want to bring on the show at one point. I'd like to see Jodie on the show. She's a beaut. I mean, I've said to Jodie back at the first ever PA conference that, we've expressed to each other that she would like me to come on her show. I would like her to come on my show. Again, it's just because of prior engagements were in the way, so it's like, well, she's never really had enough time. But I'll definitely see if she can come on at some point. There's a number of people really I need to have on the show at one point. There's one guy in particular I've seen fairly recently. I've seen his stuff before, but I've seen a couple of his live streams recently, and that's Blair Cottrell. You'd see his last name. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's an Australian nationalist, and I think it'd be interesting having him on, because I think I've seen him on PA Talk one time, and he seems like a very interesting fella. Another example with that as well. So let's see here. Chief Rio Chi does a regular Monday our time at 9 p.m. stream for English. I've seen that. Yeah, I've definitely seen that. Jodie is just lovely, isn't she? I mean, yeah. From what I've known of her, speaking to her and whatnot, she does come off like a very lovely lady and all of that. So yeah, I'll definitely agree. Blair is a beast. Seems a top bloke. Yep, indeed. Blair Cottrell is great. Oh shit! I thought he meant the the tranny Blair for a set. No, definitely not. I would never have that fucking freak on the show. Definitely not. And she's. If I were to make a slight rant a little bit when it comes to people like Blair White, I remember there was a video he made in the past about fake conservatives and whatnot. So he made this point about fake conservatives, but never actually addressing who those conservatives were. Kind of like what we've seen recently with Lauren Southern and Ashton Whitty, I think her name is, like the two blonde bimbo, if you want to call them that. Making this accusation that there's a lot of casting couches going on within the right wing. There's human trafficking in the right wing, according to Lauren Southern. And someone like Blair White, he made a point about how there's a lot of fake conservatives, but never actually addressing who those conservatives are. Because, I mean, I know there's a point to be made about, say, you should never, ever punch right no matter what. I mean, look, I think there's some people within this movement that do need to be called out. There's a lot of really good people within the movement and are very genuine and really wants to see that change happening. But there is a lot of people who are only in it for themselves and don't really care about the future of their people or even their nation for that matter. And I think those types of people really need to be called out, especially people like Blair White, who I wouldn't say is really a conservative. I mean, there's nothing conservative about him whatsoever. People like Lauren Southern, who I think is just completely fake as fuck, and also Ashton Whitty, who was like a MAGA conservative back in 2018, but now she's like a lefty type of person, and also really into Harry Potter and all that other gay shit. I mean, I just think it's rather sad that if you're someone who's like in your mid to late 20s and you're still engaging yourself with Harry Potter, grow the fuck up, man. Honestly, it's maybe one thing if you're like in your late teens, maybe early 20s, is still into it, kind of. But if you're like as I said, in your mid 20s or maybe your late 20s, approaching your 30s, and you're still into that, grow up, get yourself a partner, have a family, or get married and have a family. Repopulate if you can. When a nation is filled with strife, then do patriots flourish. Yes. Yeah, always call out the shackle grabbers. Lauren is at least part tribal and heavily aligned with Israel Levant. Yeah, report for no punch anyway. It's needed. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Exactly that. And I'm just the type of guy. I'm the type of person who will just call a spade a spade. I'm not afraid to call it out for what it is, essentially. So I love this idea that so many young hotties are falling over themselves to be nationalists. Nationalist stars that there could be a casting couch situation. Well, my whole thing with it when it comes to the Ashton Whitty thing is, how long has she been in the conservative movement, and how long has this been going on for? Because if this was all going on, if she was still around when all this stuff was going on and she knows about it, why was she going along with that? And why is she even calling us out now of all times? It just kind of comes off as she had a really bad experience with being a conservative and all that, trying to get up the ranks, if you will, by doing favors for certain people like Paul Joseph Watson and the like. And of course, it completely fell on her arse. That way, she's now trying to like kind of like what Big Alaska did with his whole video about the far right after like a shooting that happened in New Zealand, I think it was, and he was trying to like back away from the far right and trying to go back to being like a leftier type of thing like that. That's what I think what came off as for both Lauren Southern and Ashton Whitty. It was a way for them to get out of that so that they could be, I don't know, normies or like center right conservatives or something like that. It's just absolute bullshit. I'm sick of people. I mean, time is not on our side when it comes to that. Father Time waits for no man, and I'm sick of these people who are coming into a movement and just basically trying to benefit for their own gain. I'm sick and tired of these fucking people. Our people are suffering as it is, and you get all these clout chasers who are just completely just ruining it for everybody. I'm sick and tired of it, and those people definitely need to be called out for the hucksters that they are. But anyway, that's going to be the end of that. And what time is it? 5 to 7. Right. That's going to be, I think, the end of tonight's episode. I actually can't believe how quick this has been. What I'm just going to do real quick, I'm going to get the links up for a certain stream that's going to be live at 7 o'clock. It's the Nationalist A team, I think, or the Nationalist team is called. It's basically the stream that has both Mark, Sam, the Patriarch, and Barclay Walsh. They'll be on it. I just want to make sure I'm not sharing the screen again. I'm not. Right, that's fine. Perfect. I'm going to give the links for that stream, and then that way people can head on over to that. I know it's just only going to be shown on Mark's Odysee channel, so let me see if I can get this up here. Hold on a second. Let me see a minute here. I'm going to find. There's Mark's page. When I'm at here. Okay, here we go. Yep, there's the link itself. Okay, there we go. There's Mark's Odysee link. If you want to watch the stream, then there you go. I think Ragnar Ironspear will be live at 7. Hold on, let me just check on that as well. So if you're not interested in that stream, then you can always check out Ragnar Ironspear's stream. Again, if he is streaming, I think he might be, but let me just double check on that. Crap, wait a minute. Ragnar Ironspear. 1 second here. Yeah, upcoming. That's fine. Rags and Jax. Let me see if I can get this up here. I'll post a link for that. So again, if you're interested in that instead, I'll just post it in the link just now. Let me see here. There we go. Perfect. That's that. And I will be that will be the end of today's episode. So just keep in mind, folks, from Monday, from tomorrow and onwards, well, up until Friday, of course, on a weekly basis, I'll be going back to like a normal Monday through Friday job. So that'll be 8 in the morning until 6 at night. That would mean that the Thursday episodes are still going to be going ahead, but they'll need to be on a bit later on. So maybe 7, maybe 8, or maybe 9 o'clock. I'm not entirely too sure. I'll keep you guys updated with more infos about that, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted with that for any future updates. Sunday's episodes will still be the same, so it'll be like 5 p.m. Up until 7 every Sunday. Again, any updates with that, I'll keep you guys posted with that in the near future. Other than that, that will be the end of tonight's episode. I do hope everyone has enjoyed. So please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And if you have subscribed to the channel, and if you're new to it, please subscribe to my channel. This episode, of course, will be uploaded onto the Odysee channel later on, whether it be later tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm not entirely too sure. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please do something for Indigenous Peoples Day. It really could be anything. It could be big or small, like a photograph or whatnot that has White Lives Matter on it or anything like that at all. And that will all be happening this coming Tuesday, the 9th of August. So please do something for Indigenous Peoples Day, especially for a day for the Indigenous people of these islands regarding to that. So that's it. That's going to be the end of tonight's episode. So again, I want to thank you all once again for appearing on tonight's episode. Mostly the regular viewers, I greatly appreciate that. I'll be back on Thursday with episode 96 Don't know what time at. Again, I'll keep you guys posted with that for any updates. Till then, keep safe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Or this is Chief Moody signing off. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, and good night. Take care.
My blood, water the nation. My blood, through generations. My blood. What a harrowing time to witness what it means to be white, as our history's taught a guilt trip. God forbid you have pride, and all this doesn't shake the bones, awakening a rage that only grows. Echoing, 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 you will not replace us. You will not erase us. Darkness will be overthrown as patience dies and courage finds its home. Echoing, echoing, echoing. And nothing can take what my forefathers gave from me. Fighting for them till the heavens will strike it. I won't be denied, and my peace and my own country light is my skin, and I'll live to tell its story. My blood, water the nation. My blood. My blood, through generations. My blood. Don't time to against the time.